Hey guys, it's Nate again. We're going to do another reaction video. We had so much fun in the last ones. We're going to do some more. So this is millionaires versus minimum wage. Did you earn your money? Middle ground.
Hi, my name is Tim. I'm a community organizer here in LA. I work on environmental justice, social justice, housing justice, and incarceral state issues.
My name is Christiana Hurt. I'm the owner of the seven-figure brand Wealthy College Kid, and I'm 24 years old.
My name is Graham. I'm a real estate agent, real estate investor, and YouTuber.
My name is Beatrice. I am 21 and I am a Target worker.
My name is Brett Knutson.
Hold on. Graham is a YouTuber and an investor, right? So let's not get that twisted. He's a YouTuber. So don't put YouTube last, Grant. Or is it Graham? Put it first. That's where your money comes from. Let's be honest.
I worked for everything I earned.
So I grew up with two parents that were basically paycheck to paycheck, and none of them had any extra money. It was by seeing my parents struggle like that that I really realized the value of money. So I basically poured everything I had into my work. There were years, I would say 4 years, that I didn't have any friends. From 18 to 22, it was just me. And I was working from probably 8 a.m. until midnight, working as a real estate agent.
I completely agree. I think that what a lot of people discount is all the sacrifices that are made. I didn't go to parties. I don't really honestly have like a ton of friends. And it's not like a sacrifice where I was like, I'm gonna have no friends, but you can only balance so many plates or you drop everything. And the plate that I chose to give up was a social life.
I think there's like a balance you have to have. I'm 32 years old. When I was in my early 20s, in my mid 20s, when I started this transition as an entrepreneur, when I was around 22-ish, 22, 23, I've always really been an entrepreneur, but I had a job, right? I had a job selling cell phones. I had a job installing security systems. My first job ever was in a restaurant, and I hated it. It's the worst job ever. I worked in a warehouse for a short period of time. I was a horrible employee. And then when I did try to be a good employee, I really never received the credit that I deserved. And so anyways, we moved into entrepreneurship in early 20s, mid 20s. And as we're transitioning through that stage, I've been an entrepreneur now, solely self-employed for over 10 years. And doing it, when I was doing it at 22 years old or 21 years old, there was no one else around me that was my age that was an entrepreneur. Most everyone had a job. Actually, everyone had a job, and no one was really successful, the ones that tried to go out on their own. And so you have to surround yourself around people who are like-minded and people who are doing similar things as you. That's my recommendation. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you should surround yourself around other entrepreneurs. Surround yourself around supporters, people who will give you support your businesses and your ideas, people who support your energy and bring good quality energy to your life, whether they're an entrepreneur or not. If they're bringing quality energy to you and they're feeding you, right? Feeding your energy, feeding who you are as a person and making you better, those are the people you should surround yourself with. Anyone else who's taking away from you at all, anybody who's taking anything from you, anything from your energy, you're bringing negative vibes, whatever it is, do not have those people in your life. Cut them out. Highly recommended, because you will never get to stage 2, 3, 4 until you do that. That's the foundation of creating, of being a successful entrepreneur and separating yourself from the 20%, from the 80%, right? It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the people make 20% of the money, 20% of people make 80% of the money. And that goes in a lot of different facets of life. It's not just entrepreneurship.
There's a lot of labor and communal effort that goes into getting all of us here that we don't get paid for, that other people don't get paid for. The examples that you two gave are perfect, actually. You both earn your money by extracting value from capital transactions. You know, you are not building the house you're selling. You're not out there working like in a slave mine, pulling selenium out of the earth like some people on this planet are. And we have to re-understand what it means to earn money and how we all interact to do that.
How would you address, based off extracting value, if you start a company from the ground and then you build it into a multi-million-dollar company?
Great point.
But no one does that because there's investors and stuff that come in too.
That is an ignorant statement. This is exactly the mentality that will keep you broke. And this guy right here is about to tear him apart.
Not always.
Most of the time. I mean, you have to get capital from somewhere.
I have raised money before.
Yeah.
But I've also started companies that I didn't raise money for.
How would you finance them?
By working a part-time retail job for minimum wage and then saving up and then putting it in.
Boom, shakalaka. To say that you have to have capital to start a business and use that excuse as to why you don't have a business is the biggest cop-out ever. When I started my first cell phone store, I was in the back of a barber shop. I had 2 glass cases and I had 6 phones. 6 phones. I learned how to fix phones off YouTube and I started on my kitchen counter. So when you say that you have to have money to start a business, that's a lie. It's a complete lie. And it's ignorant. So go put the work in like that guy obviously did and stop complaining about you don't have money. If you want it bad enough, you'll go get it. You have to be willing to do what they won't do in order to live how they can't live.
I have felt judged for my income level.
I think it's part of general society. We are always judging each other. Having used SNAP points before, like standing in a grocery store using the card that I've gotten for the government to pay for food and feeling the people behind me thinking that's something that you haven't earned or gotten.
Has somebody ever asked you to use your SNAP on them?
I mean, I have. Generally, there's not that much to go around.
It's the same mentality when it's $1 versus SNAP. Somebody could still ask me to share. Well, you get it. Why can't you help me out?
I didn't step forward because me personally, I surround myself with people that just like, what's in my bank account just doesn't matter to the people that are around me. I do think a lot of judgment towards how much you make reflects on like your dating experience. That I do feel.
See, I've never had that because I'm so frugal. If there are girls that are out there who want me for my money, like they should know I'm probably like the cheapest person out there. I literally will wait like 9 p.m. for happy hour to start just so I get the happy hour menu.
It's the same guy who has a $12,000 watch on his wrist.
Like, so I would be like the last person any sort of like gold digger would want. Yeah.
I find myself in situations with these boys that have no job.
Speaking of that, Graham Stephan, I got to go into this real quick. He said that his parents lived paycheck to paycheck, and he tried to give this story about how he started from zero and all this stuff. The fact that you have 2 parents, like, is a huge win. Like, now how rare that is that you have 2 parents in the same house growing up. That is amazing. And that alone gives you a head over heels an advantage over everyone else. Well, a significant majority of Americans. So secondly, I've consumed your content. Like, your family had money, bro. Your grandfather had a Zenith watch. Those are not cheap watches. He had expendable income. So this cop out of, you know, my parents were broke and my life sucked and it was horrible and I grew up so poor. I don't want to hear that, bro. That's just, we both know it's inaccurate. Let's just stop that. And that's what I don't understand about these financial gurus on YouTube. They say, I am where I am because of my investments. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Matter of fact, here's what we're going to do. Graham Stephan makes between $250,000 and $350,000 a month from his online business activities. So $300,000 per month. When you start to say that you make this money from investing, like, stop doing that. Like, stop doing that. And I don't want to compare, but I'm creating businesses, right? And employing. And now I'm starting to do YouTube. There's a difference. So when I say I do this and I do this and I do this, and then YouTube at the bottom, I don't even make money on YouTube. I do it for fun and to educate.
Nothing. And I end up taking on these charity cases of relationships. Oh, why don't you put him on or build him up? And it's like, you can't build.
Yeah, it's not Build-A-Bear.
I mean, you can. I mean, I've met guys I've dated that, you know, go on to have successful businesses from my input. And, you know, you want to date somebody equal or greater, but then you don't want to be materialistic about like, well, I only date people with money because I make money.
Exactly.
How many guys has she dated? She looks like she's 23, 24 years old. She's talking about guys that she's dated that's had investments. How many guys has she dated? That should have been the next question. We should have asked her how many guys she dated.
Anyone can become rich if you work hard enough.
So I just think that anyone could become rich if they actually like believed in themselves and took the risk to actually believe in themselves, that there is some success at the end of the line of that.
I feel like a lot of it comes down to mindset first and really having the belief that you can do that. I know for me, one of my biggest concerns was I didn't have any skills whatsoever and I didn't get into college. I have like a 2.0 GPA in high school. Like it was terrible. I had such bad grades, but I really turned that into a positive, and I really believe this actually happened for a reason, because now I could pursue something else, which was real estate, because that didn't require a college degree. And looking back now, that was the best thing that had ever happened.
That's like a really sticky situation with anyone can become like rich, and because I don't think that's completely true. A lot of people can if they have like connections and stuff, you know. But I feel like sometimes people like they work 2 jobs, or sometimes they have other things going on. They have to pay their needs first. They don't always have like money for that, you know. Because like my dad, he's like a landscape worker. He has tried making his own company and it doesn't always like work out. He has tried hard. It doesn't work. That's why I think it's like you have to have connects, you know? That's why.
Do you mind if I interject?
Yeah.
In terms of building connections, I didn't have any connections either when it comes to, you know, working in real estate. And what I did to make the connections is I went to open houses every single Sunday for months. And I probably met at least 50 or 60 real estate agents. And it was through that I met one agent who was really gracious enough to say, if you want to come work underneath me, I'm happy to do that. And it was really that connection, which you know, like you mentioned, connection, that I met that person through just really kind of putting myself out there to meet people.
There's a lot of institutional and systemic barriers that we aren't really talking about. If you walk into like a Beverly Hills $5 million house not speaking English, they're probably not going to give you the like hookup. We don't tend to move within circles where those connections cross economic and socioeconomic lines. But even beyond that, I want to say like you took a big risk and your risk paid off. But what if your risk hadn't paid off? And that's for a lot of people who do try and start their own businesses, try and start their own YouTube channel. That risk doesn't pay off and there's no real safety net there. So we're not really getting an adequate side of people who have like taken that entrepreneurial risk and not been able to take it again.
United States' legal system and laws have been designed around risk takers, right? For example, Chapter 7 bankruptcy. It is designed for people who are entrepreneurs. You can take as much risk as you want and go out and swing the bat. And if you fall slap on your face and you cannot get yourself out of it, you can file Chapter 7. It's been used by many, many, many people. And in other countries, those protections, and then, by the way, it's called Chapter 7. It's a protection. Those protections are not there in other countries. And so it doesn't support entrepreneurship. United States of America supports entrepreneurship more than any other country in the world. And the fact that this guy is talking about risk and falling down, every entrepreneur that I know has failed, including myself. I have failed and I learn from my failures and we get better. It's like anything else. So don't make an excuse about, hey, I'm so scared. See, that's the difference. People are scared to fail. Well, the entrepreneurs, like I only strive in risk. If I'm not risking something, I don't want to do it. It's why I love gambling. I can't gamble too much because if I gamble too much, I just want to do it all the time. And so I gamble here and there and I love it. Why? Because I like taking risk. Okay. And so entrepreneurs are risk takers by nature. And if I don't take risks, if I'm not living inside some type of risk in my business, I kind of get depressed, to be honest. And it's something I was born with. It's not something that I trained myself or something I did. I was just born with it. And some people are and some people aren't. I truly believe that there are natural born entrepreneurs. The way that their brain works is designed around being a free thinker and digging up your own bone rather than trying to find someone else's. Jumping in the front and leading by example relative to kind of being behind the leader, if you will, kind of the Robin to the Batman. And so that's my logic.
I'm almost worried it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, though. If you go in it fearing, oh, what am I going to fail, and that becomes your main focus, I think more people are less likely to take risks actually needed to succeed because they're more focused on not failing, if that makes sense.
It's true.
Yeah, I think your beliefs create the level of action you take, and the level of action you take determines your results, and it is cyclical.
I am not obligated to give to the less fortunate.
So the reason I stood up on this one is I actually...
This guy just wants to talk. I mean, every single time that they ask a question, this guy jumps on. It's not a coincidence.
One of the missions in my organizing is getting away from this kind of notion that we have that charity or philanthropy is the way in which we solve social problems. At the same time, like, I still give people money when I have extra change in my pocket, so I don't want to seem like I'm totally opposed to it.
I agree with that. I've given people money and not gotten it back. I've given people money and they've wasted it on drugs. Why did I even give you the money to begin with if you weren't going to use it to better yourself? Is it my job to make sure that you're not going hungry? No, we have plenty of organizations that will make sure that you're eating, make sure that you have a roof over your head.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to fall on my shoulders, per se.
I feel
Then
like
why
when you
did you
say
sit down?
obligated to give to the unfortunate, it's always the mindset of like money. Well, guess what? I have no money currently to give. But I have like my morality, I have my goodness about me. I'm just trying to build a community, especially when you have a group of people that is creative and supportive. You build faster than just by yourself.
She's a good person. I like her. She's a very good person.
I don't always donate with money. Sometimes I'll go and I'll fill bags of food for kids that are starving, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it doesn't always have to be
I've never seen a starving kid in America. I could be ignorant. I don't know, but I've never seen starving kids in America. I'm sorry, buddy. I just haven't seen it.
money. Like, I don't think it's our responsibility to give money based off of what we think the person's gonna do with it. Like, that's on them if they choose to use it wrongly. It's our responsibility just to be generous.
I agree. Be generous. Put yourself in a position where you can take care of yourself. Put yourself in a position where you're growing and you've gotten to a place where you are comfortable. But that's a very scary word, right? I use that loosely. Where you are not in need of anything and that you have a little bit of change. And now, once you put yourself in that position, it feels so good to reach back and do it and to help others. And if you put it on social media and you tell everybody about it, then you're not doing it for the right things. My recommendation is do it in silence, go help people, and ask them to help others. Ask them to spread that same love that you gave to them and your energy and the positive. And I believe, like the young lady had said just a minute ago, it's not always about money. Go out and just spread your love every day. Go out and give your positive vibes, your energy, your smiles. Go give that. You can give that every day, and that's free.
I am not afraid to spoil myself.
I personally do spoil myself. I work hard to be able to go into a store and get something for myself. I bought a $4,000 hairless cat that I had genetically made. And when I was in high school, when I started making money, I went and got that cat. You know, when you're in middle school and everybody's hitting puberty and getting taller and boobs, and I didn't get any boobs. What did I do when I started making money? I went and bought boobs. Like, that's what I wanted. And there's the controversy of like, you're gonna die from your implants. Like, I'll die a D cup and have no problem with it.
So I rarely ever treat myself. I basically keep my spending at the same as when I was like, 19 or 21. No matter how much money I make, I spend the exact same amount. For instance, it sounds crazy, but when I was like 17, I wanted a Lamborghini. And there was nothing I wanted more. I want to be that guy, 18 years old and pull up with a Lambo. Like, that was my dream. But when I actually got the money to go and buy the car, all of a sudden I realized, like, wait a second, that's stupid. I'm not gonna get the car. I'm going to invest it in real estate instead. But then I'm gonna wait, and then I'm gonna get the Lamborghini. And then you save up even more, and then you realize, wait, the Lambo is still stupid. Let me go and, invest it. And even now, like, the chase and ambition of getting something is way more fun and enjoyable than actually getting that thing.
I agree with that.
I don't really spoil myself because I always buy my needs first. I usually wait till like my next check to see if I have extra money, and if I do, then I spoil myself. But if I don't, then I don't.
I think it's interesting also that almost all of us have associated spoiling ourselves with spending money, and at the same time said spending that money is very unfulfilling. It's weird because even myself, like, I really just like having an F-off day and I just hang out and don't do anything and have any responsibilities, but I don't think about it as spoiling myself, even though that's my favorite time to spend.
I like that. And Graham is an extreme version of don't spend money when you have money. And listen, Graham also bought like a multi-million-dollar house in Vegas. So as long as if your money's being spent on something that's worth as much or more as when you paid for it, then in my opinion, you're kind of doing what's called forced savings. And you're kind of wearing your savings account on your body or in your car or in your house. If you invest in real estate, if you purchase a property, purchase a house, as long as it's worth more, if you expect it to be worth more when you bought it as when you sell it, it's a good investment, and I don't see a problem with it. I don't care how much money you spend or what you spend it on. Is as long as when you sell that item, if you enjoy it, you enjoy your time with it, and you use it, and it brings joy to your life and value, and then when you sell it, it's worth the same or more when you sell it, then I think it's really difficult to not justify that purchase. I can't tell you how many times I've bought stuff that I've wanted over the years, and now I'm at that stage where I just don't really care about buying anything. And my wife says it's impossible to buy things for me, because it really is. If I want something, I buy it. And I'm at the point now where I just sell stuff that I got in 2018, 19. I just sold a lot of stuff because I had so much stuff. I had 2 jet skis, a side-by-side, four-wheeler. I had a 30-foot center console boat that cost $780 in drive storage, and then you had maintenance fees, and it cost me $3,000 to $4,000 a month just to have the boat in storage. And I just got to the point where I was like, I use this thing like once a month because my family doesn't get on it. And it's just, why? Why do I have it? Why do I have these jet skis? Why do I have a side-by-side? Because it was causing me more stress by just having them. And now I feel obligated to use them when I really don't want to use them.
I wish I had more money.
For me, I think it's always a comfort thing knowing that I have a little bit more saved up or invested. And I think it could just be a psychological thing that no matter how much money I have, it's always psychologically never going to be enough, because that becomes your new normal. So I think you're always chasing that.
See, I want more money so that I can pay off like my debt and travel and like help some family members.
Graham could write her a check and not even think twice about it. Probably the $40,000 or $50,000 in debt that she might have, and that would change her entire life. And Graham is making $350,000 a month from YouTube, as we just saw earlier. It is a psychological thing, and no matter how much money you have, you want more. It's a comfort thing. I agree with Graham's, 100%, and that's a difference in mentality, and that's why he will continue to be wealthy. He doesn't spend money recklessly, and he continues to make more money. So when Graham is 40 or 50 years old, he will have a lot of money, and his money will work for him, and he won't have to work if he doesn't want to. Matter of fact, he doesn't have to work now if he doesn't want to. But the reality is that when you're born with that type of drive where you want to make more money no matter how much money you have, you're very blessed, and it's a rare thing. It's called not being comfortable, right? We talked about that earlier. The word comfortable, it's a dangerous word. Don't get comfortable. And that's exactly what Graham was trying to allude to, is that he doesn't feel comfortable. And that's a natural thing that someone's born with. You just you feel more comfortable with more money. So the more money you have, the more comfortable you're going to be.
I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, give me money, but like, I just want it for my needs, or just for like a car because I need a car, or just stuff my family needs, stuff my friends need.
I think for me, if I'm honest with myself, it's getting further away from how broke I was, because I'm scared of that ever happening again. There's no end because of that.
So, of course, everyone could always use more money. Like, I've met billionaires who could definitely say that they would want more money, but more, I want to see a society in which the money that we have doesn't determine all of our possibilities. Because it seems like when we talk about solving problems, it comes back to money. My utopian vision is like a society where money really doesn't matter, because we don't really need it to figure out value, but it makes a good translation for the time being.
All right, so cool video. We got some more coming. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this. I certainly did, and I appreciate your time. Appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. On to the next one.